Hey everyone. This past little while, I've been getting lots of messages from people basically saying, "What should I be focusing on when it comes to digital marketing?" And then they're also asking me several topics such as, what's my tips on personal branding? What's my tips on social media marketing? What's my tips on getting good engagement? What's my tips on how do you post in 2018 without broadcasting but actually delivering really great amounts of value? So kind of thought about it, and I messaged some people on LinkedIn specifically and asked them, what are the top 5 things you'd like to hear me talk about to try to provide as much value as possible to the audience, to my social networks, to my LinkedIn family, and a few topics kept coming up. And today I'm going to give just one tip on personal branding, and then I'm not going to stick to a schedule or anything like that. I produce the podcast, and the podcast has lots of useful, great, amazing content, but I'm periodically going to come on here and just try to give some amazing value. So number 1, personal branding. What is personal branding? Personal branding is really just the reflection of yourself, utilized by social media platforms, technology, social media, LinkedIn, Instagram, Snapchat, and whatnot. So people always ask me, Ryan, what's some tips, or how can I start branding myself, and is personal branding for me? And my answer always is personal branding is for anybody, whether you're in business, whether you own a business, whether you work for a business, whether you are a plumber, whether you are a social media marketer, whether you are an engineer. It is all for you. Personal branding is for you. Now, I got on a podcast yesterday with an amazing blockchain recruiter, and his name was Rich yesterday, and we really had a good conversation about, how can you market yourself in 2018, even as a candidate or an employee. So I really just want to talk about personal branding today, and I think that is something that everybody should really focus on, and I think that personal branding is definitely for you. Part of my eye contact, because I'm literally looking out into the mountains, and a bear has just crossed. So don't mind it. I'm paying attention to you. I'm here. I see what's going on, and let's talk about it. Tip number 1, understanding human nature. And let me read this out. Human nature cannot be classified by boxes, smoothness, efficiency, etc. People by nature are emotional creatures, and they understand feelings more than they understand inanimate objects or measuring parameters. Personal branding is about connecting with the human psyche, demonstrating your ability to connect with those on your social network, and creating confidence in yourself to become their confidant. This is also known as authority. This is an example of, let's say a plumber opens up a shop and he wants to have some great engagement on his social media. Now, every plumber out there could just be like, okay, well, I'm a plumber, this is what I do. But if you go the extra steps to show somebody how to, for instance, if we're talking about plumbing and heating, and let's say your pilot light goes out on your furnace, and the average Joe Blow like me didn't even know how to relight a pilot light, for you as somebody who's in that industry or that profession, you could do a how-to video on how to relight your pilot light on your furnace. And what that's going to do is it's actually going to position you as an expert in your field, and position you as authority. And coming into the funnel, we call it inbound marketing, where you're putting out actionable items, you're putting out great content, you're putting out value, so that when your customers, past, present, future, are looking at who they want to deal with, they think about you because you've helped them, you've established that relationship with them. Human nature is the core of everything, and is the core of business in general. So if you don't know anything about personal branding, go get a few books on human nature, behavioral psychology, and really try to dial in why people do what they do. So this is my tip number 1 to personal branding. I'm not going to elaborate on it. I'm going to come back with more tips on personal branding in future videos, but this is something that you can literally start on right now and today. Please drop in the comments if this video is helpful, and what you think personal branding is, and what are the things you'd like me to comment on. Again, through my entrepreneurship, through owning a digital marketing company, I've constantly talked to people who are in business that are constantly striving to really figure out what personal branding is, especially people who are in sales, to ultimately become an authority and also build a relationship with customers. Again, I'm Ryan Holtz. You can follow me on any of the social media platforms at Ryan Holtz1. Check out the podcast, ryanholtz.ca/podcast. I just want to bring you copious amounts of value. I hope you're having a great day, and deuces, baby.